Hello guys, today we'll be reviewing the EVGA Superclock Titan X. It has supposed boost clocks of 12-16 MHz, but the actual boost clocks I've been seeing are around the 1330 MHz state. It's equipped with 3072 cuticles, 2 billion transistors, 7 GB per second memory clock, and is of course equipped with 12 GB of GDDR5 384-bit memory. Right, so let's get on to some games and see what's what. First game up I tried is Battlefield 4. Everything's set to full max, as you can see. And let's have a look at how these frames turn out. If you look in the top left, you can see the frames quite nicely. I'll put the performance overlay chart on as well, so we can see the graph and how everything runs and see what you think. I've actually played tons and tons of games and just so blown away by the performance. What you've got to take into account here is I'm playing with a resolution of 2560 by 1440. Every game I do has max details. And as you can see here, I'm sitting 110, 120 frames per second, and on a single card. That's very impressive. You can see by the graph, performance is very good, very smooth. And you can see in the game, performance is very good, very smooth. So, do we actually have a card that's capable of running 1440p with max details? I shall leave that for you to decide after this review. Right, I'll tell you about what I used to run, which is triple A SLI Titans, the original Titans that came out just over 2 years ago. They never let me down, although I will say performance over 3 cards was slightly disappointing. It did leave a little bit to be desired at times, to be fair, and especially as I run Shadow Play a lot, the performance of 3 cards was no better with 2 cards running Shadow Play, which was a bit of a head scratcher, but something Nvidia probably could have sorted out but never did. So switching to SLI, faster cards seemed like a good idea to me. On the interim I ran a 290X, which gave me nothing but a headache. I'm sure a few people know my story with the 144Hz issues, but for those who don't, it was basically, I've got a ROG Swift monitor, 144Hz obviously, and that doesn't work with AMD hardware. Every game I try to play would default to really high, which would result in a black screen, because 144Hz is what the game sees. So every game I played either had to be played in windowed, or I had to manually go through the config files and change it in there to be able to actually play any games. That was a massive headache. For 1080p gaming, standard 60Hz monitor, the 290X is fine, but even 1440p, absolutely again fine. But for me it just didn't work. Anyway, that's enough of that whinging. Let's get on to the Titan X and what my thoughts are on that. Well, so far the games I've played, just have a quick look at my Steam library to make sure I can see everything. Right, I've played Alan Wake, which wasn't very demanding at all. It used to be in its early days, but it's getting on a bit now. Batman Arkham Origins, that plays very, very nicely on one card. I've played it in SLI as well, and it's got a bit of a stutter to it, I'm afraid. Not the actual game, but just every now and again it just has a stutter. I had the same with the Titans, the original Titans, so not too happy there, but hey ho. What else have I played here? Bioshock Infinite plays very nice. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, again very nice. All these games playing on a single card with max details is just being chewed through. The Titan X is taking no prisoners. In the background we've got Far Cry 4 running. This plays very nice on one card, very smooth. That's the first time I've seen that actually happen. I tried it on a single Titan when it first came out, and it played okay, but not as smooth as this. This is very nice. Coupled with the G-Sync monitor as well, what you see is not what I see, because obviously you've got U2 compression and everything else, and you lose the smoothness that's from GPU to screen. Another big release that gets lots of mentions is Assassin's Creed Unity. That's always been a game that I've really enjoyed. Obviously lots of bugs from Ubisoft, but on a single Titan X it's just unbelievable. It really does run well. It's really smooth, no problems whatsoever, no stutter, so an absolute plus there for the Titan X at 1440p of course. Right, well that's enough about that. Let's talk a bit about the card. For a start, the temperatures are probably one of the most talked about points, as well as the fan noise. If you leave the default fan profile on that comes with the NVIDIA control panel, you won't notice the noise, but you'll notice the card downclocks a fair chunk, which again isn't really a problem because the card's so damn fast, it just copes with everything anyway. But when you start putting overclocks on and seeing what the card can actually do, you're going to want to run a high fan profile. I always run a 1-to-1 fan profile, and for those who don't understand what that means, it's say 30 degrees centigrade, I run a 30% fan, 40 centigrade 40%, 70 centigrade 70%, and so on. That keeps the card nice and cool. You have to be aware that the fan is quite noisy. Reference cards are generally the same. It's not as noisy as the 290X reference card by any standards, and it does have a bit of a whoosh to it, which isn't too off-putting really, but again, be prepared for some noise. Other things I've read on the internet are people are having problems with coil whine. Now, out of the two cards I've got, no coil whine at all, so obviously not an issue for me. Both my cards will eventually be going underwater. Getting a bit lazy as I get older, and I just can't really be bothered to do that at the moment, but next time I'm off work that will certainly be done, and temperatures should remain good, and I can add a little bit of voltage then as well. The max temperature I've seen the card get to, and that's with monitoring with GPU Z, is 72 degrees centigrade, which is pretty good really. That's running a 1-to-1 fan profile of course, and that was with a semi-decent overclock. The card was running at 1409 megahertz whilst doing some serious benching and some serious gaming as well. So impressed there. Leave the fan on the stock NVIDIA profile though, and it'll get up to 82, 83, 84 centigrade quite easily really. So my advice is do run afterburner and do keep a tidy fan profile running, and that'll save any heat issues and downclocking. The cooler does a great job really. It's the vapor chamber, and I find coolers very boring, let's be fair. There's nothing exciting about a reference cooler, but these with the vapor chamber, they do what they're intended to do. The blower fan obviously is a little bit noisier, but if you want to run 2, 3, 4 cards even, you're going to want these sort of reference coolers, unless you're going water cooled, which I'd advise anyone to do really. Okay, so if my boring voice hasn't sent you to sleep yet, let's talk about the price. Now this has always been one of NVIDIA's things, and I've seen people moaning about it, some people saying yeah, they don't care. I've actually stopped this about 3 or 4 times now because I keep laughing every time. Price is subjective, it all depends on the person. I've paid £910 for one of my Titans, the Superclock, and I paid £869 I think it was for the Gigabyte. I'm pretty sure it was £869. Now to me that is a lot of money, sure, but it's what you earn. You can't say to people, oh, you're getting ripped off, you're getting robbed. I choose to spend that, that's my choice. And if somebody wants to buy a 750, a 270, that's their choice. I don't knock what they buy, so I don't expect anybody else to knock what anybody else buys. I like to consider myself a bit of a computer geek, a bit of an enthusiast. I don't have many hobbies really. I play a bit of golf, that's about it. So to me, if I want to spend my hard-earned money on this, that's what I'll do, and other people are more than welcome to do whatever they want with their hard-earned money. Right, well that's that little rant out the way. Hope people don't get offended by that. That's my own personal thoughts, and not the thoughts of everyone else obviously. So, would I recommend this card? That's a bit of a hard one to call really. If you're a 1440p gamer on a 144Hz monitor, and especially if you've got G-Sync, I'm going to say yes. Spend the money, buy the card. Just buy the one, you don't need to. This just breezes through everything. Ultra smooth, really does fly. Now if you're a 1080p gamer, sorry, no, I can't recommend it. If you're a 4K gamer, you're going to want 2, maybe 3 of them if you want all the details on. So again, that's your choice. For me, absolutely love the card. No remorses on buying it whatsoever. Runs ultra smooth with everything I've played so far. Maybe things will change in the future, maybe not. Maybe we're stuck this way for a couple of years. Also worth a mention is DX12. I'm pretty sure most of us enthusiasts are aware that DX12 is coming. Microsoft say games will be hitting sort of Christmas time, so that's something to keep in mind as well when you're purchasing new graphics cards. I'm holding on to this 3930K for as long as possible really. Just I can't justify spending more money on another CPU when supposedly DX12 is going to really make it feel like a 2-generation gap. So I shall be watching that with close interest. If I do need another CPU, of course I'll get one, but for now I'll hold off. So to wrap up my review, if you're a 1080p gamer, don't get it. If you're a 1440p G-Sync gamer, get it. Thanks for watching.